What's up, Raz Manites and Reject fans? That's right, you got the Raz Man back here on the 5 Awesome Rejects. Now, why am I doing this? No one's been on this channel in months. Well, that's partially my fault. I was the only one that was doing their day, week in and week out, stopped. But the main reason that I stopped is because I realized that everyone else was just too busy to do their days. And I felt like I'm the only one doing their day week in and week out. It feels like this isn't a group channel anymore. So what I'm hoping is that this topic that inspired me to come back and do my day this week will inspire everyone else to come back and do this channel, because I love our team and everybody on it. I think we're all so uniquely creative, and we're the best dang group channel on YouTube. I mean, you got myself, you got Metal Madness, you've got Planet Beer Wagon, you've got Do Not Take It Seriously, and you've got Sergeant Pepper 1138 as your regulars, and then you've got people like Geo19 and so many great others as your guests. Rejects, RJ O'Hagan's another one. You know, so many wonderfully creative people. I just want to see this channel get new breath breathed into it, because group channels are a concept, I think, that are sorely missed on YouTube. Yeah, they're still out there and they still exist, but I think that it just isn't as good anymore. The group channels that you do have, they're just not cool as far as that this channel has, and that's my opinion. Anyway, today, the topic that inspired me to come back to the Rejects is it's something that I wanted to do a quick video on, and I just got a massive package from Planet Beer Wagon, Speak of the Devil, a moment ago, and I didn't want it to get overshadowed by me doing another video 24 hours later, but this is also a subject that I knew that I wanted to talk about before it gets worse, because I think with every successive trailer, it has the potential to maybe get worse instead of better. And that is, a lot of people are slamming the trailers for The Amazing Spider-Man. They're saying that The Amazing Spider-Man isn't going to be a good film, and granted, the film hasn't come out, so it may be a pile of crap. I'm not here necessarily defending the film itself, because that's impossible to do before anyone sees it. The thing that I'm here to point out is that the reasons that people are using to criticize it aren't very well founded. People are saying that there's no need for it to be rebooted. Well, this is a much more accurate adaptation of the novels, the origin of the character. This is right out of the comics. This is how Spider-Man was seen in the comic world. Sorry, my mom is trying to come in the room there in the background. But this is how Spider-Man was seen in the comic world. The origin that you see in The Amazing Spider-Man is much more accurate to the source material of Spider-Man. So that, I think, is something that is really getting lost in the shuffle. And I think that is exactly why Sony decided to do The Amazing Spider-Man, because there were so many fanboys that were crying and saying, "You ruined our character," and yet those same people, the majority of them, I think, are saying that you are rebooting the franchise too soon, and the original Spider-Man films were good enough. Well, make up your mind. In my opinion, the original Spider-Man films were very good, at least the first two, in terms of film. But were they necessarily accurate to Spider-Man the character? Absolutely not. They took a lot of liberties, and they weren't very true to the source material. The Amazing Spider-Man from the two trailers that we have seen looks a lot like the 90s animated Spider-Man series, which is what is the most accurate adaptation of Spider-Man in any form of media that we've seen that's not a comic book to date, other than Ultimate Spider-Man, which is also an animated series, and Amazing Spider-Man, as well as the original origin of Spider-Man. The film also looks like it's a very good and very close adaptation of the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. So I think that from a pure fanboy standpoint, this film has a lot to work with, and the actor playing Peter Parker looks exactly like Peter from the comics. So I think if you look at it that way, and that's the way I'm looking at it, I think the Amazing Spider-Man has a lot of potential. So I just want people to sort of get the original trilogy out of their minds and look at this as a re-envision of Spider-Man's origin, which is exactly what it was supposed to be. Because I think if you do that, you might be pleasantly surprised. Now, granted, the majority of people in this film are actors that not a lot of people know about, and they definitely don't have nearly as much exposure as everyone involved in the original trilogy. So, the casting is somewhat suspect. But, and I say somewhat because there are some great choices already in the cast as well. So, while the acting is somewhat suspect, I think it's definitely something that we need to judge on their own, or on its own merit, sorry. So, definitely leave me video responses below if you want to do a video on this, and not just leave a comment, because I definitely think that it is something that everyone's going to have a different opinion on. But the main thing is, I think people are being critical of The Amazing Spider-Man before they see it. In the year of superhero films, with the Avengers and The Dark Knight Rises also happening, I think this film could very well be just as good as those. On paper. If they screw it up, they screw it up. But on paper, I think this could very clearly be just as good as those. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think. And I will see you when I see you again. I will gladly do these 5 Awesome Rejects videos as much as I can, but I really want to see whether or not my fellow rejects are inspired to come back or not. Because if you're the only one on a group channel, then it's not a group channel. It might as well be a second channel that you have for your own videos, which I don't feel like I need. So I know that the rejects are my friends and they're not going to take that as a slam, but that's just the way it is. So come on back, guys. Let's do this group channel thing. Let's do what it was meant to be, which is equal opportunity exposure for everyone and their solo projects, and a great collaborative effort. Let's come up with collaborative ideas and truly make this a collab channel once again. This is the Raz Man here for 5 Awesome Rejects. And for those of you that don't know, I also do a weekly radio show now and have a Facebook fan page, so make sure you stay tuned to the credits to keep up with everything I'm doing, and I will see you next time.